Welcome along to episode 747 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, we chat with Mike Brewer of the TV show Wheeler Dealers as they celebrate their 20th anniversary with a brand new series. We catch up with James Richards and find out about the charity Moobs, making male breast cancer awareness a part of their priority. We'll be having a natter with the team from Breast Cancer Now about Wear It Pink, which comes up this Friday. Scott Bird lets us know all about what's going on with the Spotlight magazine, which is available now from the Grand Theatre. And we'll be talking about some of the amazing shows they have running right the way through till next year. Plus, it is scare season, so we're having a natter with Ayvianna Snow, all about her current horror film projects. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
With more than 2 in 5 women not self-examining regularly for breast cancer, possibly relying on mammograms as often as they're called by the NHS, we need to step this up to make sure that if something is wrong, people know it as soon as possible. Tell us more. I'm joined now by TV presenter Sophie Blake and Jay Murray at the Breast Cancer Now charity. Good afternoon to you both.
Hi.
Sophie, tell us some of your story.
I was diagnosed with primary breast cancer back in December 2020, just before the third lockdown. So I was affected, having all my treatment done then, which was a lumpectomy and radiotherapy. And then I was given the all clear, but unfortunately last year, back in May, I was given the diagnosis that I was then stage 4 with secondary cancer, which had spread to my liver, my lungs, my abdominal lymph node and my pelvis, and a brand new breast cancer actually growing on the skin of my lumpectomy breast, which is quite unusual, which was a grade 1. A different cancer altogether. So I started down the secondary route going back then, and that's the life that I'm now living, and been in contact pretty much all along with Breast Cancer Now, who are a massive support for me during the lockdown, because obviously I couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't see anybody. So I'm doing all I can to help now, raise awareness with them.
And although obviously now an incurable condition, you're not letting that stop you doing what you're doing, which is the important thing. It's about living for now and living to make sure that you're passing the message on to others to check and to work alongside the charity.
Oh, it absolutely is. And I've actually literally 5 minutes before this call had the latest news of my PET scan that I'm currently no evidence of active disease. So excuse the big smile on my face right now.
No, that's brilliant news.
Best news you can get with secondary cancer. But yes, absolutely. The first thing, obviously, I had the trauma of that information being relayed to me back in May, and it's a moment that I will never forget my entire life, of where I was and what I was doing and processing it, and the horror of telling my daughter and my mum and family. But I'm quite a proactive person anyway, and just kind of did lots of research and reached out to people in the cancer community and the secondary community, and there's so much support out there. There really, really is, when you look for it. And if you know, you have to do what works for you. That's what worked for me. And Breast Cancer Now played a really big part in that. And so I think that's why I want to be able to give back and do what I can as well to help others.
Yeah, and Jane, obviously, when somebody is in this situation, whatever stage they are of discovering they have cancer, there's a lot of help and support that is needed. And the work that Breast Cancer Now do is absolutely phenomenal, isn't it?
It is. It's crucial, from the life changing research to the support services that we offer. You know, we do everything, campaigning, all sorts of massive important things that really contribute to the treatment and the support for people affected by breast cancer. So we have a whole range of services. You mentioned we have a helpline. So the helpline is staffed by nurses like myself, open 6 days a week, which is free, it's confidential, and it's an opportunity for people to call us up whether it's they've got a primary breast cancer diagnosis, a secondary breast cancer diagnosis, if they've not been diagnosed, but they're worried about a symptom, they want to know more about screening, family, friends, anybody, they you know, it's completely free from all mobile networks and landlines in the UK. And they can ring and they can speak to someone like me or one of my nurse colleagues and go through any questions they've got, any concerns they've got. And then we can signpost them on to other services that we offer. So we do have very specific services for people like Sophie who have secondary breast cancer, or younger women with secondary breast cancer. We also have services, a service called Someone Like Me, where we can put someone in touch with somebody who's had a similar diagnosis. That peer support can be really, really crucial to speak to somebody who's been through something similar, going through something similar, because no one else can really understand or have any idea of what that's like unless you've been through it or going through it yourself. So yeah, that we do a huge amount of really important and really worthwhile services. So I would encourage everybody and anybody to check out our website or call our helpline just to find out more, really.
And it's through the sort of advice that you get there that will show you how to self-check. And Sophie, were you checking? Is this something that you picked up yourself through your own checks?
I was, but actually it was through running. I started running after lockdown, and I actually felt mine. It wasn't a lump or dimpling or a discharge or anything like that with mine. It was a dull ache I started to get when I was running. And it was after a couple of weeks of it not going away, I just suddenly felt like something wasn't right. Luckily for me, I got an appointment very quickly with my GP, who sent me for my mammogram, the first one I ever had, and they picked up on it straight away. So it's so important to self-check and to know your own body. I knew it wasn't a pain I'd never felt before, and that's what made me aware. And I guess then, because I did check my breasts, and it's just knowing, it's so important to know every area, you know, even the chest bone, around under the armpit, your collarbone, just to feel your skin at least once a month, you know, set an alert so you don't forget, because it's easy. Life is busy. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you shower, you're moisturizing, putting on the bra, just check, because you never know, you know, and most cancers, obviously breast cancer caught early, is very treatable nowadays.
It's important to do that, and it's important to get that awareness, and through the fundraising that's been put together here, because on the 20th of October we're calling everyone to wear pink, wear it pink for the day, and to sort of raise awareness, but also to raise some funds too. And this is, again, it helps the important work of breast cancer now.
You know, I've been chatting with Jane about this earlier. It's such a fun way to do it, and it's something that everybody can get involved in. And if you can't even make an event, you know, you can do it online. And when you're organizing these things, if it's a coffee morning or a Barbie theme or a school run, everybody, you can put that out there as well about advocating, you know, and being self-aware and knowing your own normal and checking your breasts. And you can just make a breast cancer awareness month. You can just utilize that month to share all that information and raise awareness, but have a lot of fun on that day as well.
And wear it pink. And the campaign's been going on for this in its 22nd year now, and as a 39 million quid raised, all that doing amazing work. And Jane, I mean, you see what actually happens here, and you know, in numerous cases. So you must be so proud to be part of it. But equally, it's getting that funding in. It's important.
Absolutely. You know, I'm so proud. I'm proud of the organisation and everything that Breast Cancer Now stands for, and all the work that we do. And we will continue to support women and men, because let's not forget, men do get breast cancer as well, a lot smaller numbers, but they do. So it's really important that men are breast aware. People are sort of regularly checking their breasts, as Sophie says. And I think what we hear a lot on our helpline is that people are worried about, you know, contacting their GP. The NHS is so stretched. You know, if it's something that's not important, I don't want to bother them. But it's not a bother. You know, the majority of breast changes won't be breast cancer. But you don't know that. It's important that you get that confirmation from your GP, or if your GP is not sure, they can refer on to a breast unit where you'd see a breast specialist. Again, even somebody that's referred to a breast unit, the majority of women don't have breast cancer, but, you know, do check, do report, do be sure. And, you know, that's the most important thing, really. But yes, going back to your point, I'm super proud of Wear It Pink and everything the organisation stands for.
wearitpink.org, wearitpink.org. That's where you want to go to. Get registered. Make sure it's an event you've got going on at work or at school or the community group or whatever it is you're involved with, or just you and your family, and have a great time doing something for the charity Breast Cancer Now, who do an amazing work. The 20th of October is the date to put in your diary. Colour it in a pink highlighter so you know which one it is if you're on paper. I'm sure you can do that electronically too. But get that all marked up and be part of it. And Sophie, such good news that you've had today. Let's keep it going in that direction. Let's make sure that you're as well as you can be for as long as possible. But the important thing is to check, because if you hadn't have discovered that, the prognosis, even as difficult it is now, would have been a lot worse.
Absolutely. But every single penny raised for Wear It Pink goes towards that vital research that helps people like me living with cancer and being diagnosed with cancer, and all the support that Breast Cancer Now gives. So, even if it's a couple of pounds, anything, please do so.
Well, Sophie Blake, TV presenter, and Jane Murphy at Breast Cancer Now, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
The TV series Wheeler Dealers is marking its 20th anniversary with its 17th series. To tell us more about what they have in store, I'm joined now by Mike Brewer. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm all right. And how are you keeping?
Well, I'm good now, Jason. I've been singing show tunes on my way to work.
Well, that always helps, I think. But when it comes down to being behind the wheel, music is an important part of that. And when you're restoring a car, you've got to get the sound system right too.
It's always nice to have a good sound system in a car. I think it's very important. Lots of the cars that I restore are sort of period cars. So they're from the, 70s, 80s, 90s. And there we're talking about, puny little stereos with a couple of speakers on a parcel shelf. And when you play a modern tune out of those speakers, it doesn't kind of sound right. But as soon as you put a classic rock song on from that generation, all of a sudden, the stereo in my antiquated car sounds brilliant.
But we're looking at the likes of Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, Hotel California by the Eagles, maybe a bit of Guns N' Roses, Sweet Child of Mine. All of these songs, they're absolute classics, just like the cars we're talking about. And if you've got a Capri with the volume cranked up to 11, one of these tunes is going to really make it move quicker.
Most definitely, yeah, because it all plays out under your right foot when you're driving along. And who can't help but sing along and shout and scream to Bohemian Rhapsody? Actually got 30% of the votes in our survey.
And appeared in every generation of drivers, which is the exciting part.
Yeah,
everyone here, Gen X, Millennials, Gen Z, they're all there.
Yeah, it's one of those songs, isn't it, that's so enduring from the moment it came out to now. I think once you hear the first chord, even, I think there's videos online of 5-year-old kids sitting in the back of cars being driven to nursery singing along to Bohemian Rhapsody. It seems to be it's part of our DNA, I think, that song.
Absolutely. And with the soundtrack to the TV series as well, it must be good fun when you put the whole thing together and you're enjoying restoring to a tune.
I think we've had the same theme tune on Wheeler Dealers for 2 decades as well. I think we tried modernising it. We had a load of complaints and we went backwards to the old original theme tune. But look, I'm very proud. The show's been on air now for 20 years. We're celebrating this 2-decade anniversary by conducting surveys like this and finding out what get people to work in the morning, because, I've had to get to work to restore all these cars over the past 20 years. And I have my tunes to get me to work and back again. And it's been really interesting. But I'm immensely proud of the 2 decades of putting the show together. And we're just about to... We've started working on the 21st year as well of Wheeler Dealers. So long may it continue.
Absolutely. You've been a global phenomenon as well. That's the exciting part.
Yeah, we're actually making a global series right now. So wherever I go in the world, I lived in California for 6 years making the show. Wherever we go in the world, I get fans. I was in Italy the week before last. I almost stopped the town because people knew I was there. The same in France, the same in Poland, the same in Germany. So we're making this global series at the moment, which is going to take Wheeler Dealers out to these big territories that watch the show, and we're going to celebrate it with the audience.
Well, it sounds like a fun thing to do. And how does the team line up this series?
Me and Elvis, same as it's been for the past 3 or 4 years. Me and Elvis are going to be on the Spanners again. and we're very much looking forward. We're still enjoying our bromance, and we're very much looking forward to bringing some hit shows to you.
Yeah, because the cars working here aren't the fastest ones you've worked on, are they?
No, I mean, we've got an eclectic mix in this series, and some of them are positively, humble, but when we put these cars together and the list of cars together, it's very important for me and Elvis to make sure that we sort of capture everything, what the audience want. We can't have, 20 sports cars in a series. We've got to have a 4x4 and a convertible and a family car. And with this run, we've got everything from a 4x4 Land Rover Discovery 1 all the way up to a Caterham 7, so a nice little pocket rocket race car. We've got a Saab 900 turbo convertible. We've got a super estate car with the Audi RS6 Avant, faster than the Porsche 911. An exotic Italian car with the Alfa GTV. A Cortina P100 pickup truck. Nobody would have the audacity to tackle one of them, but I would. And a wicked little Peugeot 205 Rally. So we've got a bit of everything in there.
Absolutely. And it's cars which are achievable for the rest of us as well and give us some inspiration on what we could maybe do with the vehicle on our drive.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of people out there fixing up cars on the internet that are, £300,000 Ferraris and Porsches. No, I tried to keep the cars down at heel. I tried to keep as aspirational as possible so that the normal man can afford to do it. So that's what the aim is. When I go out and buy these cars, I can go and buy a 200 grand Ferrari if I want, but only a handful of people out there will find that really interesting because they haven't got one. But there's a million people that have got a Ford Fiesta, and that's why I will do a Ford Fiesta.
Well, it's going to be another great series to watch. Where and when can we find you?
You can find us Monday nights on Discovery Channel, and then thereafter on the Discovery app where we're doing weekly drops. And it's 9 o'clock on Monday nights, and you've got the Discovery Plus one as well. So if you miss it, you can watch it at 10 o'clock. And it's usually repeated about, 1,000 times across the week as well. So you won't
it's quality television. It's got to be done, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. It appears everywhere. So just make sure you tune in and watch.
But Mike, good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us. Former Formula One mechanic, and now with the man with the spanners on Wheeler Dealers. Thank you for joining us.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Ayvianna Snow is very often busy in the world of horror. 3 movies she's been working on either recently or are already out there. To tell us more, she's on the line. How are you doing? You all right?
Hello. Thank you so much for speaking to me. It's lovely to be here.
Well, it's good to catch up with you again, and it's good to talk about horror movies at this time of year because Halloween is approaching, and Wrath of Dracula is going to be a must-see this Halloween season.
Thank you so much. Yes, I mean, spooky season is always my favorite time of year, so it's great to have all these films out in time for Halloween.
And I like the fact that we've got a bit of a feminist take on Dracula here.
Yes. So what kind of first attracted me to this script was the fact that it's Dracula, so it's the classic tale, but it's told from Mina's perspective, which I thought was a really interesting kind of modern feminist way of looking at it. So in the original novel, Mina has kind of a passive role. So she stays at home and sort of waits for Jonathan to return, and events kind of happen to her. Whereas what Steve Lawson, the director, wanted to do with this was to give Mina a more active role, kind of give her more agency. So in this version, Mina travels herself to Transylvania and she learns Kung Fu, and she bursts into Dracula's castle herself in order to take him on. And I kind of love that. It's just, it kind of gives us a more feisty leading lady, which I love. And
you're Maria in this one, though, Dracula's favourite bride. So a bit of conflict there for you, I think.
Whose side am I on anyway? Yeah, and it's got this awesome kind of action element to it as well. There's lots of fight scenes. And yes, as you say, I play Dracula's kind of lead bride, or the bride who's sort of in charge of the other brides. Mm-hmm. And the backstory is that I've been sort of kidnapped from the local village, and my father is still looking for me. And so she's she originally came to the castle sort of against her will and then was kind of bitten and turned into a bride. It's an interesting kind of interpretation because part of me thinks, how much is she aware of what she's doing? Is she, she doesn't really want to be there. Does she still have memories of her time living in the village? Does she still remember her life before? Is she completely under Dracula's spell? So it's an interesting one to kind of tackle as an actor. You have to kind of make decisions about, to what extent is she working for Dracula, and to what extent does she remember her old life?
And that's something you have to take on board, particularly with the direction that you're getting and the way in which the production team and writers have worked around this. But it's until you bring them to life, these characters, they have got very much an empty, pale facade until you bring that pale facade to life.
That's it, yeah. So kind of some of it was up to my own sort of discretion, which is great. Steve's great about kind of giving the actors that creative freedom to sort of make your own decisions about how you see the character. But then equally, obviously it's got to fit in with the wider story, and that you can't kind of make a decision that's like, totally different from what the script says. But I just loved working on it, and it was great to have the time to explore all of that. I've worked with Steve before last year on a Jack the Ripper film. And I was very pleased that he brought me back. It's always nice because you think, okay, well, hopefully I didn't mess up too badly the last time because he's brought me back. And it was a much more substantial role this time. So there was more to kind of, get my teeth into, get my fangs into.
But a shared interpretation, which is how it has clearly worked in the past, and the reason you're able to work so well together this time. But this isn't all that we have in your current crop of output, because there are 2 films currently working the festivals as well.
Yes. So over the weekend, I was in York, the beautiful city of York, attending Dead Northern, which is a fantastic kind of genre festival looking at horror and fantasy in the north of England. So I was there with 2 films, How to Kill Monsters, which we won. We won the Best Feature Film Award for the whole festival, which was, I was really, really pleased, and I was thrilled for the whole cast and crew and the director Stuart. It was, these things are it's such a team effort, and it's a real ensemble piece. And we had the screening on Saturday, and then it's fantastic. I love watching that film in that big communal space because it's got such a great warmth and humor. It's a real kind of rollicking comedy. If you think of like Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz or those kind of horror, but with like a comic element. And the audience responded really warmly, really positively. Everybody kind of laughs together, and it's there's a great atmosphere every time I go to a screening of that film. So and we were so thrilled to win the award. So I hope it goes on and has a successful run and then gets released.
Yeah, it'd be great to see a theatrical release on the way for that one, and then of course the streaming services are their next home. And with so much, even the big studios putting things straight to streaming these days. Actually, it is quite a badge of honor as soon as you can be available in people's homes.
Absolutely. I mean, I quite like I'm old fashioned, so I quite like it when it has a cinema run, because there's something about watching it communally with all your friends. And, like I think the lead actress, Lindsay, had brought her family to the screening. So it was so nice to watch it all together. Whereas I think when you stream stuff, you end up kind of watching it alone in your room. And you kind
but from
of
the back behind the sofa in this case, though, I think that's where you're going to be for these.
Yeah, no, we're such a big family, and we all met up before the screening and had pizza together, and it was just a really nice, lovely experience.
And Punch, obviously, also well received.
Yeah, so Punch screened at Fright Fest, which is in London and Leicester Square, back in August. That's another really interesting film directed by Andy Edwards. I'm only in that quite briefly. I have a cameo as one of Mr. Punch's victims. I won't tell you how I die, but it's it's always interesting to see what manner of death you're going to encounter. But it's interesting in that it depicts a kind of it's shot mainly in Hastings, so a sort of semi kind of derelict coastal town. And I think what's interesting about those places that are kind of seasonal places is that they're really bustling and dynamic and busy during the season, like during July and August. But then all the tourists go home. And for the people that actually live in that community, it's actually quite desolate for many other months of the year. And it depicts a kind of insular community. The lead character sort of wants to move out and go to uni in a bigger city, and some of her friends are like, oh, well, are we not good enough for you here? So this kind of attitude that can develop in insular communities.
And then horror ensues.
Yeah, precisely. And but the poor girl ends up encountering Mr. Punch, obviously from the Punch and Judy show, which is famous for playing at the British seaside. And it turns into a kind of American slasher, but somehow set in a British seaside town, which is really, really a cool concept.
That sounds intriguing. But nice to see this sort of thing coming out of the horror indie UK whole scene, and something which overall, I mean, you've been involved with in a number of occasions. I mean, horror is your favourite genre, isn't it?
It really is. And, I've been thinking about it. Those three films that I've just described, they're all horror, but they're also entirely tonally different. So like Dracula is a classic kind of period piece. Then you've got Punch, which is set in this kind of insular small community, with a sort of working class people trying to get by. It's a lot of unemployment in the town. And then How to Kill Monsters is this kind of rollicking comedy. So I think I always find it amazing how versatile the genre is and how much you can do within that genre. And even though I guess I've been kind of pigeonholed as a horror actress, I still think that, I'm still working on like such a range of really, really different projects, even within horror. So it's, I feel very lucky, really.
Yeah, and it's always about how far you make it to the film as well, and I think that's part of the fun.
Yes.
There'll be so many different places and so many different roles that you've played, and yeah, they may bring you in as a name to be early to the slaughter in some cases, and then other times you're there for the duration because you're one of the stars. So it's all part of the whole picture that is just fun horror, and a lot of it can be terrifying, but equally I mean I love the fact that the comedy horror is an amazingly well loved genre too. It is great to be able to get people together to enjoy, laugh, and of course have those moments where the skin on the back of your neck sort of goes all as you're watching an amazing movie. Now of course we can see you in The Wrath of Dracula. Where do we get hold of that, and how does that work at the moment?
Dracula is on Amazon, I believe. It's also in Asda for £7. You can get the DVD. And yeah, I would advise you to do that while you still can, because I think the way the future of film is headed, I think maybe in the next few years you won't be able to get physical media any longer. So I love the fact that it's in Asda though, because I feel like you can get it while you're doing your grocery shopping. You can be out getting your milk and tea bags or whatever, and then just like grab a DVD and
bit of horror comedy.
I'll watch that this evening.
Yeah.
So I love that it's kind of really accessible and not overly expensive, like £7, not too much. And I think because sometimes going to the Odeon to watch something, you can find, you can spend £25 really easily by the time you've bought popcorn or whatever. So I think to me it's important to keep it sort of accessible to ordinary people, and sort of democratizing the art form.
Yeah, and sharing the art. It is about the art, isn't it? And whether you're looking at the special effects, the acting, or the writing behind it, each of those have got a very special place in our hearts. And when you bring them together into something like the projects you've been working on, it all works really well. So where do we find you on the socials to make sure we know when the other releases are coming to our own, either theatres or onto DVD?
I'm on Instagram at Ayvianna Snow. I think that's it. Yeah,
just go to Instagram.
Instagram me. Yeah.
Ayvianna Snow, check out what's going on. Follow you at all these amazing press events and festivals that you go to.
And all the different ways that I die.
Yes, in each of the movies. It's always quite a treat. Ayvianna, always good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us. Keep up the good work. And
Thank
we look
you
forward
so much.
to seeing you in The Wrath of Dracula.
Thanks, Jason.
Although breast cancer awareness often centres around women, men do have the issue too, with around 400 diagnosed each year. To tell us more, I'm joined now by breast cancer survivor and founder of Moobs, James Richards. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jason.
So, first of all, tell us a bit of your story, which has led to your campaigning.
Yeah, of course. So, back in January of this year, I was in a work meeting. I folded my arms and I felt a sort of small kind of lump in my breast. Didn't really think much of it at the time. It was just because I had a colleague mention that I should probably go and get it checked out because he had a scare a few years beforehand, which turned out to be benign. But before that point, I had no idea that men could get breast cancer. And even though I'd been sort of told to go to the doctors, it still took me about 4 or 5 weeks to go. I sort of kind of like put it to the back of my mind. I think in my head, I sort of thought, it was January, I've been sort of hitting the gym and doing exercise, trying to get off that holiday weight, and maybe I overexerted something. Finally got sort of finally got round to booking an appointment. So I went to my doctors, and they were sort of very much like, look, this is absolutely nothing to worry about. Got referred to a breast clinic, and again it was sort of the same case again, nothing to worry about. And then obviously things change quite quickly and you sort of jump onto that conveyor belt. And I think it was one of those things that I kind of noticed that the few people I sort of spoke to, they had no idea they could get breast cancer. And when I got my diagnosis, I was told that to prepare for a terminal stage 4 diagnosis. And anecdotally, men don't go to the doctors compared to their female counterparts. And I think it's one of those things that the mortality rate in men is 19% higher than it is in women. And obviously, we can assume that maybe that's a big part of men just not kind of going. And that's kind of where the awareness part comes in, because if you don't know, you won't go. So that's kind of why I set up Moobs, to kind of fill that void.
Yeah, with no real screening program for men, it's only on the off chance you notice something. Fortunately, in your case, you did, and you had a colleague who had cause to say something to you. On average, if it happens to a man, it's only about the age of 68, rather than your 37. So you were absolutely in no known categories. You weren't aware of any genetic mutations with the BRCA2. You probably haven't been exposed to radiation, So all of these things were in your favour as not being a problem, yet it turned out it was something sinister, and you're fortunately been able to get treatment at stage 3. So how does the prognosis work? How are things looking health-wise?
So I had chemotherapy, so I was supposed to have 8 rounds, but that was extended because it came back as a genetic mutation, BRCA2, which has a whole range of ramifications in terms of long-term health. So I'm more likely to get sort of pancreatic or prostate cancer in the next 20 years. So I completed chemotherapy about 5-6 weeks ago, and I'm going into surgery in about a week and a half. But I think the surgery side, I think, kind of highlights as well, because part of the stuff that we want to do in Moobs is we want to campaign for more funding for male breast cancer. And I think there's around 400 diagnoses a year, so it's a small number compared to 55,000 for women. However, in 1 week of my treatment, I went from having a single mastectomy to a double mastectomy, back to a single mastectomy, and now something which is not a mastectomy. It's called a central excision, which is kind of like removing the nipple a bit more. So it's kind of like a mastectomy light. But that's kind of due to those low numbers of incidences, so people don't have that experience, but also the sort of research behind it. We just don't have the level of funding. It's nowhere near comparable to what is involved in female breast cancer. I'm not saying that it should be taken away from that, but there are questions that need to be asked. And when you're looking at 400 diagnoses, each one of those is a story. So it's someone's like grandfather or father or partner, uncle, son. No one should die of ignorance, particularly if it's not ignorance of their own doing. And part of that is a language around the way we talk about breast cancer.
Absolutely. So this is something which certainly needs to be considered, a conversation point with your GP, and a case for checking the same way as you would check for testicular cancer.
Exactly, and it can be done at the same time in the shower. It's it's actually easier for men to check than for women. It's very simple to do. It's something that will save lives. So it's something that all men should be looking out for.
Absolutely. So where do we go to find out more about the work that you're doing through Moobs and also the awareness campaign that runs alongside it with those tips?
Yeah, so if you go to our website, so it's www.moobs.uk, or you can follow us on either Instagram or X at moobs_UK.
This is something which you've got experience of and are, I think, bravely talking about in this way, because it is something which, it's still ongoing. This is still very real for you, and this isn't over until you get that final all clear.
No, exactly. And, I think that's just the physical side. I think the mentality side of it is huge. And just, as I was doing this, I was introduced to a guy who referred to himself as, quite a masculine guy. And he found it very emasculating. And, he didn't tell people. So there's very few people, very close friends and very close family. But he told me about this story about when he goes and plays rugby now, he kind of changes so in a different room, or so people don't see it. And it's it's a real shame, and it shows that there's a stigma around that. And unless we break down that stigma by changing the language and how we refer to breast cancer, that's not going to change. And like I said, we just need to kind of people talk about it and go to the doctor to check it out.
Yeah, and whilst it might be many hundreds of men rather than many thousands of women, it is still an issue, and because of the ratios there, it is less likely that it's going to get picked up in a time whereby it can be treated and we can get the best prognosis going forward. So that's the importance of it. For you to have hit stage 3, and before it became very obvious, it shows how it doesn't really show symptoms which are going to cause huge amounts of concern.
No, exactly. I had no symptoms apart from that lump. And as I said, if it wasn't for a colleague even saying something, I wouldn't have even gotten it checked out, if I'm honest.
So important to have this conversation. Give us that web address again.
Yep, so it's www.moobs.uk.
Founder of Moobs, James Richards, thank you for joining us and good luck with the rest of your treatment.
Thank you so much, Jason.
The latest brochure for Wolverhampton's Grand Theatre is available now to pick up from the venue, which is where I'm sat now with Communications Manager Scott Bird. Hello.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
We haven't had a catch up since the last brochure like this, have we?
No, we haven't.
We obviously do see each other periodically at shows. I mean, you take me to see shows sometimes as well, which is always lovely. But there's obviously loads of great shows ongoing. We're most excited about Panto because we know that that's all happening, and there's been lots of great interviews. I had a great time chatting with the cast. Thank you for that. And we're looking forward to speaking to more of them soon.
Yes.
And there's work going on with the ensemble as well, and we want to talk to them.
There is, yeah.
And I was very lucky that Adrian gave us a bit of an exclusive talking about the fact that the musicians are going to be on stage.
Yes.
So that's something that we're looking forward to. And there's going to be loads of stuff all over the socials about all of this as we get towards Christmas.
Yes.
So that's exciting.
It is.
But other than that, what's going on? Because you've got here Spotlight.
Yes, and it's lucky that we've got some copies here because, as you've just seen in the foyer,
everyone's been running off with them,
flying off the shelves,
which is what they're supposed to do. But it's proving popular.
Yes, no, we're pleased that they're going so well. But of course, it means we have to fill the racks up.
It's back to being a paperboy again.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So here it is.
Wonderful magazine, lots to read, lots of stuff about the shows, and it's nice to have Wolverhampton have its magazine telling you about everything that's on at the Grand.
Yes, and I like this one. I like this one because it's like an autumnal orange.
Yes,
it's also Wolves colours, and it takes us through from now pretty much till next summer. So
that's good going.
Should we have a look?
Yeah, I thought, what have you got in here? Because I know you've been doing some features and things for it, haven't you?
Yes, I have. That keeps me busy. So I get to chat to some people, and we start with Matthew Bourne's Romeo and Juliet, which is next week. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be good.
But you actually went to meet Matthew and everything.
Yes, I did.
So this is text from your chat with him.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and some of the dancers, and he's going to be here next week as well on opening night. So if you come to opening night, you might spot him around, and then after the show, he's going to stay behind and do a post-show talk about the production. So
it looks like a late night for me on Tuesday next week, so we'll see how that goes. Great.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've got quite a busy October as it goes through.
And lots of comedy.
Yeah, we're doing really well with our comedians at the moment. We're getting sort of everyone through the door. So we've got Judy Love next week. No, week after next.
Week after next, yeah. His calendar isn't right in his head.
No. And then, and we've got the Pundits, we've got the Bee Gees, Tom Davis, we've got Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That one's a parody, isn't it?
It's a parody, yeah. Buffy revamped. And then Frank Sinatra farewell concert tribute as well. Which is,
Richard Shelton,
really
Wolverhampton man at the heart of that one.
Yes.
And but he's a lovely fellow to have an actor. We caught up with him the other week, and it's all about putting on the show for him, isn't it? And making it as much like the real concert as possible.
Yes. With the Sid Lawrence Orchestra.
Yeah, so that's going to be an absolute treat. So that's Sunday the 29th of October. I know that one. But as we head into November, again, there's a few week-long shows, but more brilliant one-nighters.
There is, yeah. So Peter Pan Goes Wrong.
That finishes October into November.
Into November, yeah. It's a little bit of a crossover, that one. But we've never had the Peter Pan Goes Wrong before. We've had the play that goes wrong.
That was good.
We've had Grown Ups.
Yes.
And now we get more mischief with Peter Pan Goes Wrong. So we're looking forward to that.
That's been absolutely amazing, isn't it?
Yes. We've got Bilston Operatic. They're back with Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Now, this is a show that I really want to see, and the magic of this one, the songs in it, and the fact there's going to be a flying car, that's something to look forward to.
Yes.
But I think with the way in which Bilston work, it's going to be a treat, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it really is. And I've seen little clips from their rehearsals and stuff, and it's shaping up really nicely. So we're very excited for that.
That's good.
Jesus Christ Superstar, direct from Regent's Park Open Air.
You should have sung that. You can sing that. Can you sing that?
Oh, I don't know.
You can do a line for the show. No, okay. For copyright reasons, we can't make Scott sing.
Yeah, you want to come and see the real thing. Let's keep it.
Okay.
That's that for the professionals. But the playing Jesus is Ian McIntosh, who played Galileo in We'll Rock You Here recently. So if you came to see that and enjoyed that, then this is just as rocky, and you know what to expect from.
It is a good show. Another good show.
Yeah, and as I said, direct from Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. But of course, if it rains, this show can still go on.
Yeah,
because it is on our stage, nice and covered up. Which then brings us into Panto.
And that again, it's going to be amazing. And I think it's part of the magic. But it is going to be Snow White, but not as you've seen it before. And I think that's part of the magic here, because with the musicians on stage. Yeah. And lots more besides Adrian wouldn't tell me about. Yeah. Because he's been teasing me all year. Everybody says, "Oh yeah, it's going to be amazing. You won't have seen anything like this." And then he lets you have a little nugget of information. Yeah. And he's just keeping everyone on.
This is the most nervous I've been for one of our chats, just in case I accidentally slip something out. But yeah, it's going to be, as you said, Snow White as you've never seen it before, but also Snow White as you expect. I was chatting to somebody yesterday about the show, and I said, "What can you tell people about the show?" And he said, "You know what you're going to get with this show. However, you just don't know how you're going to get it." I think that's the best possible thing.
That's clever. We like that.
You could say about this. Yeah, because it's true. You know what you're going to get with the Panto, but you definitely don't know how you're going to get it. So, okay. It's exciting.
Intrigue. Okay, lots of ticket details on that one. Starting
yes,
at £16.50.
Yeah,
that's
quite text heavy page. That, but then this one is chats with JC and Nikki.
And they're both lovely.
They're both lovely. Yeah, really nice. JC, it's his first Panto here. He's done a few before, but first time
here.
He's done two before. But
I've done my research.
Nikki's done 4 here before, but not for about 9 years, I think it is.
Is it that
the
long?
last time she was here? So it
nice seems like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it does. Julian Clary and Joe Trissini. That's Cinderella.
That was that long ago.
2014. So it's 9-10 years ago. Yeah.
I think. Pandemics make you feel older. I think that's what it is. Those 3 years.
But this is Nikki's first time evil, so she has got a wicked side, if you know Nikki. This that's going to get to come out this year.
So good.
And then lots of magical offers there for our first call members. If you're not a first call member, that's something you should definitely.
No, this
sign up
is
for, I think.
16 through 24.
No, that's the other one.
That's the other one. What's first call?
First
then?
call is 8 to 15.
Oh, the younger ones.
This is the younger one.
Ah.
Yeah, so if you are aged 8 to 15 and come with an adult, you can get 2 tickets. Basically, it just combines 2 tickets into one lovely price. So, for example, some of the offers in here are 2 tickets to the Panto for £40, 2 tickets to Everybody's Talking About Jamie for £49, which, that's the price of, especially in London, or that's not even the price of one ticket.
Yeah, it's a fraction of that cost, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's good.
And you get to see in a nicer venue as well.
Thank you very much. But yeah, more comedy from Sarah Millican and Gus Khan.
Two more amazing comedians, and big tours that you're never sure quite where you're going to get to see them. And there's a reason why they want to play places like the Grand, because you've got. We've both stood on that stage and presented stuff, and the way you can interact with the audience, it's so good, and it works so well for their sort of comedy.
Yes, yeah, and that's why they're doing. I think Sarah's doing. She's doing Wednesday through to Saturday, so she's doing multiple dates, and I think people do prefer to do comedy and see comedy in a smaller venue like our theatre over a couple of nights, rather than just do one big night in an arena where the comedy doesn't really land.
You're watching on telly, really, aren't you?
Of course. So yeah, it's and they're selling very fast. Obviously, the comedians do sell out very quickly. So have a look on the website and see what there is left. But then something a bit different for us.
This is odd.
Yeah, Stranger Things, which is a musical parody of Stranger Things, of course, and it's done. It's done the Fringe, and it's done lots of sellout runs in London. So yeah, it's a sci-fi spoof that is wild and an irrelevant twist on the Netflix series. So
and when's that one on?
That is on Monday to Wednesday, Monday the 15th to Wednesday the 17th of January.
So it's a nice one to start your new year and put have a smile on your face and some songs in your heart and some stranger things than you've ever seen before on stage.
Yes. Exactly that.
I think I sold it.
Yeah, and if that doesn't tickle your fancy, then maybe a night of soul, Motown, and disco will be the one.
I like the sound of both of those.
Yeah.
Project 21, amazing local performers, Carl McGregor, part of the Memory Cafes down here as well at the Grand.
Yep.
And if you've never seen Carl perform, you absolutely have to. Chances are you will have seen him, because I booked him to sing at Molyneux a few times. He performed in the park for the promotion celebrations alongside Beverly Knight, and he's truly talented. And we're going back a few years now when the Queen Mom passed away, live on ITV. He sang the national anthem, and it absolutely moved everybody. So he's got a voice to be heard. So make sure you come along and see Project 21.
Yes, and that also features local stars Sophie Ann, who was in our Panto last year, of course, and is doing so many different projects all over the place. Supporting Beverly Knight, she's been supporting Annie Goulding, I think it was, the other week. So
it's a big night.
Yeah, it's a big night.
Yeah, you need tickets for that one.
And Dayton Gray. So then we've got more music, tribute to George Michael with Fast Love. Then Gareth Gates is back. We haven't seen Gareth since 2018 Panto, but this time he is appearing as Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I don't think he's playing all of them. No, but yeah,
he's talented enough to.
Yeah. So Gareth Gates singing the music of the Four Seasons there. That's on the 21st of January. Stuart Lee, more comedy there. Drag Queens, a tribute to Queen, and
then something a bit more peculiar down the bottom there.
Yes,
which is
Cirque du Hilarious, the Temple of Delusion, which is Clive Webb and Danny Adams.
They're amazingly funny.
They are,
and they're lovely people as well.
Yes,
I always look going to have another natter with them, because I always love a catch up with them.
Yeah, they're great, aren't they?
Because they'll be off doing Panto with their usual place, won't they?
Yes, they always do Panto up in Newcastle. So they have to tour the rest of the year. So if you want to see them at Christmas, you have to go all up there. But if you want to see them in 18th of February, you don't have to travel so far.
Come down here to the Grand, see them there. Right.
It's always crazy, their show.
Now we're about 2/3 of the way through the brochure. So what you got next?
Everybody's Talking About Jamie is back.
There, that again, another phenomenal show, and a talked about show, literally, because it's in the title, and a cast that is going to bring it to life once more, and John Partridge in an interesting role there.
Yes, I think John Partridge was in a dress the last time we saw him here in La Cage aux Folles, but now he's back as Loco Chanel in this. Also with Shobna Gulati, who plays Ray. which is a little chat that I had with her during rehearsals. She's back for her 6th year with the show now. She's been doing it for 6 years. She did it in Los Angeles. She's been in the movie, and she still comes back to it because she loves it so much, and understandably so.
But that's cool to have her here in Wolverhampton.
Yes, we love Shubna. We can't wait to have her back. But then for us, we have a slightly different cast to where you see elsewhere. Our Miss Hedge is Giovanna Fletcher, which is really nice. I think she's doing about 4 venues on the tour, and we're lucky to have Giovanna, Queen of the, I was going to say jungle, but castle, I think, from I'm a Celeb. Yeah, and obviously famous author and Disney podcaster and everything else that she does. So we're looking forward to having her. And Ivano Turco, who recently was in Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella as the prince in the West End, and the Bob Marley musical, and now he's playing Jamie. So really different role.
Yeah, that's an interesting. But it's great when you see performers who can turn their hand to all these different things, and we've seen that with Annie that's been at the Grand this week. The performers you see in that, there's some names we recognise who have toured all the shows, and we do see names pop up, don't we?
Yeah. So it's really exciting that he'll be here for the first time, and of course Rebecca McInnes as Margaret, the mum, who is incredible. So, yeah,
all looking good. Over the page.
Flip the page again. Some stuff on our creative learning projects that we've been doing throughout the year. We've got cinema screenings monthly with the National Theatre at Wolverhampton Central Library, and they are totally free to members of Wolverhampton Library.
And James Collins looking after that and keeping everybody rather busy.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
I don't know how he does it with the time or the money, to be fair, but it's all good.
Don't ask me what the next one is, but it's the best of the National Theatre.
Yeah.
So we've already had the likes of Small Island, and we have One Man Two Governors, the James Corden version. But coming up are really great titles from I think Jekyll and Hyde might be the next one.
Ooh,
possibly.
Okay.
Like that. So I don't know. Go to the website. And our social media, and it's all there.
Would that be grandtheatre.co.uk?
It would.
There we are.
It would indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, or the National, or the Wolverhampton Library website. They've got it all there as well.
Yep.
Forrest show is back. It's been quite some time since we.
That's got to be 5 years.
Something like that. Yeah.
I can't remember which number of the tour it was on, but it's always celebrating a birthday.
Celebrating something. What are we? 50 years.
50
now?
years.
50 years.
Yeah, I'm older than the Rocky Horror Show, which is disturbing, but it's just such good fun.
Yes.
And there's again performers who've been in that for probably the best part of a decade now.
Yes.
And they do some amazing stuff.
Yeah. We don't know our cast yet.
Yeah. So Christian's got to be in it.
So probably, yeah, he'll probably be back. But yeah, we don't know the rest of the cast. So. Keep looking out.
Check it out. Social media.
Equally, we don't know the cast for this, but I know it's coming soon.
How are we saying it?
222.
So we are saying it. Yeah, it's not 2:22.
No,
it is 2:22. It is the time,
which is a time which I believe is where the production finishes. It finishes at 2:22 a.m. So the clock ticks.
So that's spoilers.
Slowly towards.
The spoilers on the poster.
Yeah, but what happens at 2:22? Why is it relevant? I don't know.
We will find out.
Yes.
Yeah, on the 20th through to the 24th of February 2024.
Yes, and I don't know the cast yet, and that's the truth. But I do know it's coming.
And there's lots of twos in the date, the title, and everything.
Yes, yeah.
Lots of little ducks.
In the second month. So yeah, and there's an interview there with Danny Robbins, who wrote it. And we've got some lovely pictures of things we've been getting up to lately. Look back on our last season, Sister Act and Rock of Ages, SpongeBob, Bodyguard, what fun we had. And there's Melody Thornton with her little dog.
Oh,
yeah. So that's nice. It's nice to reflect.
It's good to look back, and it shows the sort of people who are coming and performing at the Grand, and you don't get to see them on the high street every day, but you do when they're in town. Yeah, they go and pick up a sandwich at M&S, that sort of thing.
Or Greg's, one of the many Gregs.
Can't go wrong with the Gregs.
No. And then we've got 6 back again for its 3rd reign of Wolverhampton.
And it would be great when he does 6 times. That would be good, because it will keep coming back. Because
it will be here for a 6th time soon.
It is such an amazing show, and it's one of those where until you see it, you don't know what to expect. But it's got a great perspective on Henry VIII's wives.
Yeah.
So,
all sort of in the form of some sort of sort of imaginary maybe pop concert that's set somewhere in
time.
Somewhere in time. Yeah, but it's great, and I'm sure you've at least heard of 6 if you haven't seen it. But yeah, it always sells really well, as it is already. So get your tickets now if you're thinking about it. But it stars Nicole Lewis, who is from Wolverhampton.
That's always
We have
good.
a Wolverhampton queen, and apparently she is doing the part in a Black Country accent as well. So there's a Black Country Catherine of Aragon
I'm liking it.
coming to the stage.
That is good.
Yeah, so I think that's what's so fab about Six is it's not set in stone, and they let the queens put their own stamp on these people,
Yeah.
and sort of do what they want with it. Really, so you know every time you go and see Six, you get something different.
It's a bit
you get
different,
something
yeah.
unique. But Nicole is our girl. In the lockdown year, actually, she did some filming for us, and she did a schools tour when the schools reopened again as part of our creative learning project. So Nicole is a friend of the theatre, and we're pleased to see her doing so well.
That should be good.
So yeah, we're nice to have her back.
And then we're on to Bonnie and Clyde. Now, winner of the Best New Musical. That was the What's on Stage Awards in 2023.
Yes.
So this is big news and comes along in March.
Yes, and I can confirm that it is worthy of that title because I saw it originally. The original production was what it started off as the UK version started off as a concert, and then went to the Arts Theatre in the West End, which is very small. If you're familiar with it, but then it had a West End transfer where the production got bigger and more exciting than it was before, even though
it was amazing
originally. It was amazing, and now it's back again on the road, this time with this gorgeous new artwork. Look at that.
That's lovely.
See that? I like that. So yeah, and stars Catherine Tilsley from Coronation Street and various other fabulous things. Strictly Come Dancing she was on. Then Sam Faraday, Shropshire's own, as he's there. Look, you see him, and then we've got Bonnie and Clyde there, Alex James Hatton and Katie Tomkinson. So we're looking forward to welcoming them. That's a little bit on the show there.
Brilliant lineup, more writing. We like his writing. He's good at his writing stuff.
Yes. More comedians, Rob Brydon and his fabulous band.
Oh, that should be a good night.
Yeah.
See, people forget he can sing. You never
Yes.
expect a comedian to sing, do
No.
you? Not well, but he
Yeah.
can brilliantly.
Yeah. And that's after a sellout UK and Australian tour. It's a night of songs and laughter, so it's got everything thrown in there.
That is going to be in someone's Christmas stocking. You can guarantee that is
Yeah.
going to be a Christmas gift. That one.
As might Giovanni Panice from Strictly.
Yeah.
As well, it's back. Lots and lots and lots to go through. We're really excited to now be a member of Dance Consortium. Actually, Dance Consortium are here in the theatre right now.
Yeah.
Getting to grips with the space and and introducing themselves to everyone. So the team are here, and we're really looking forward to this because this is a collection of 19 UK theatres now who are passionate about showing the best of worldwide dance in the UK. So this year is next year is the Sao Paulo Dance Company who are coming to have their UK premiere tour. Yeah,
And this is one of those things again that you don't see often. And
No.
when something like this comes along, it is another must-have ticket, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And coupled with that, if you're under 10, certainly Awful Auntie is going to be on your list of shows you want to see.
Yeah, if you've read the David Walliams books and have seen any of his previous stage work, they just translate so well to stage.
They've got something for everybody.
Yeah, they have.
Now I see Billionaire Boy. I've seen that one. What is
Yeah.
it? And it's
Gangster
Gangster Granny as well. And
Yeah.
both of those. Actually, it doesn't matter on the age of the audience, and that's what good writing does, isn't it?
Yes.
It makes it accessible to everybody, and it
Yeah.
may be a theme which is aimed at a younger audience, but actually, it's accessible to all.
Yeah, they've always got a nice message. They're very sort of a bit like Roald Dahl for today, really, isn't
Yeah.
it? So yeah, we're looking forward to that one. Then we have for the younger theatre audiences and the young at heart, we've got the Dinosaurs are coming back.
Yeah.
And as well as Sophie.
Oh, 75th birthday.
75th.
And
yeah.
Richard joining him for that one?
Richard is joining him, yeah, and Sue this time, because of course in our panto it was just Richard, Sooty and Sweet. But,
Sue was busy.
Yeah, she was backstage for a day. She came to visit.
Yeah.
But now Sue is on stage.
That's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So that's lovely. More. I've missed a page here. What have we missed?
Can't miss a page.
We've missed the Speak Up page, which is our fabulous schools project joint with the National Theatre that Lucy Ellen Parker is seeing through. That's just an update on that because we're a year into that project now. So
she works hard on that one, doesn't she?
She does. Yeah, it's been a fab project, and it's ongoing for another 2 years. But that's the first year that you can catch up on. More comedy, more dance, more. Tribute acts. We've got an Elton John tribute act there. Graziano Di Prima from Strictly.
And Frankie Boyle.
Frankie Boyle, yeah.
Now, but he's
Covering that with my hand.
Yeah, there you go. Don't hide Frankie. Another comedian, not to everyone's taste, but hugely funny if you listen to what he's saying.
Yes, yeah.
And he's one of those that sometimes gets a bad press, but actually it's intelligent humour, and you probably haven't been listening properly.
Yeah.
So check that one out.
Yeah. Back to Bacharach, so that is back. Back to Bacharach is back.
Yeah.
As well as some opera, Madame Butterfly and Carmen.
Yep.
Boy in the Back of the Class, the novel translated to stage.
That's going to be another good one.
Yeah.
And again, it's a mix of audiences there as well, which is going to be good.
Yeah, of course. That's going to be for a real mix of school age and young adults, and but even the adults will capture the imagination of. That's an update on our access.
And again, another part of the work the theatre does, and you may not realise it, but it is about getting people in and getting the community to use a venue that they maybe didn't think was for them.
Yeah, of course. And this month or this season is the story of Frank and Alison Littleford, and they are regular attendees of our Memory Cafe.
And I've been to events, and they're wonderful, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, they are great, and the Memory Cafes are held here, and Frank is living with dementia. And this is all about their story and how the memory cafes have helped them. So,
that's all good.
So yeah, you can read all about that. Then we've got an update on our summer school and our 1625 schemes. So
that one's called 1625.
That is called 1625.
Okay.
For the 16 to 25-year-olds.
Okay, we get that.
And that is it's basically like a sort of introductory Friends of the Grand membership. This membership is free to sign up to, and not only does it offer you all the benefits of being a Friend of the Grand, such as up to 15% discount on tickets and priority booking and all the rest of it, but it also allows you to get £10 standby tickets for selected shows about half an hour to an hour before the curtain up. So
yeah,
that's
if
good.
you can plan your night that way, that's all good.
Yes.
And last few bits and pieces, because we've got Life of Pi.
Yes.
Now, a major film, but then a more amazing stage show, I think, because there's no green screen here.
No, there is fabulous projection
Yeah.
that takes you from world to world, but also world-class puppetry for the Tiger, which did win, I think it was the Olivier Award, could have been the Tony Award as well, but all 7 puppeteers of the Tiger won.
Got the gong.
Got the gong,
Yeah.
So the trophy makers were busy that year, I think. But yeah, it did. It opened in the West End and has since enjoyed a season on Broadway and is now back in the UK for a UK tour, which has just begun. But we're going to get this in April next year. We're talking to the 2 actors here who play Pi in the show, as well as the puppeteer of the head of the Tiger, Akash here, who is from Wolverhampton.
We're getting like in the local. We've got talent, being born in this city.
This book is full of people from Wolverhampton telling their stories. So no, we always like to shine a light on the local talent, and it's we're so lucky and fortunate that it's always here. And
then obviously we're heading through into May there, and we've got Love Never Dies, West Bromwich Operatic Society on stage.
It is, yeah, and this is the UK amateur premiere of this show, so it's hugely exciting for everyone involved. This is the first time that it was one of the first times you're ever going to see this show on a stage in a theatre in the UK. You know, it did the West End, and then it hasn't toured at all. So it's done a concert version recently in the West End, but
but I hadn't realised it's a Frederick Forsyth novel that it's all based on.
Yeah,
and he's a lovely fella. So I've met him in the past as well. So that which is all cool.
So yeah, it's you're going to find out what happens to the Phantom.
Okay.
And then let's have a look.
So a sequel.
It's a sequel. I think is it set 10 years after? Yeah, 10 years after his disappearance from the Opera House. So this picks up 10 years where Phantom of the Opera leaves off. Psychic Sally is back, doing her thing,
and then the sensational 60s experience. That year wouldn't be the same without the gang turning up, and another amazing lineup: Dozy, Beaky, Mick, and Titch, the Trems, the Fortunes, the Swinging Blue Jeans, and Vanity Fair. So that's and obviously these lineups change as well because they bring extra people in sometimes, don't they?
Yeah. So that's another sensational lineup, and then of course Michael starring Ben is back, which is a great tribute to Michael Jackson. But then for the first time, we have a tribute to Shaka Khan.
And I kind of feel I should go Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan. Yes,
I
we
can't,
do
I
that
can't
too.
quite get that right.
Yeah, if you call the box office, you might get one of those if you book through the box office. And then Tom Allen. So yeah,
he's just so popular.
Add to the roster of fabulous comedians.
Now I've seen him support Sarah Millican, and
Yes.
that was an absolutely brilliant night with those two on stage.
That's on Thursday, 23rd of May.
No, so now is again the time to get your tickets for these things.
Yes, it is.
And then something more for the kids.
As it is for these, yeah. If we, for the kids. They've got a bumper book of shows, but Peppa Pig is back, but with a brand new show, Fun Day Out, this one. And then Madagascar, the musical, is back, this time with Karim Zorel as King Julian.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be good. That is in 30th of May to the 2nd of June. Then just some more about our accessible performances and dementia-friendly theatre there.
Yep.
We also have a separate access brochure and a creative learning brochure that sits alongside these, which you can also pick up in the foyer.
Mm-hmm.
The access brochure is out now, and I believe the creative learning brochure is out before Christmas, so look out for that. Then brand new production of Frankie Goes to Bollywood, which is going to be great.
That's going to be a treat.
Yeah. With the concept and book by Pravesh Kumar, you get swept away into the world of Bollywood. That's going to be really, really good. There'll be some great dance in that.
And then the one where we don't have spoilers, it is The Mousetrap.
Yeah.
Their 70th anniversary tour.
Yeah,
and but a show which it's of its time, but it's timeless.
Yeah, true. And is still running in the West End 70 years later, as you say, and has toured for the last, I don't know how many years.
It's more than a decade.
And still nobody knows the end.
No.
And I think the beauty of this play is I've seen it 3 or 4 times, and every time I've forgotten the end until we get there. But then I realise it is the same ending every time.
But I've forgotten as well.
Yeah.
And everyone I talk to says they can't remember the end.
Yeah.
It's like the mind has been
like
told.
Something
I
happened.
can't tell, don't tell.
Yeah, and that's the genuine truth. I sit there halfway through thinking, I've got genuinely no recollection of who's done it. But it is. But then as soon as it happens, I go, yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. But there you go.
And it's the same person every time.
Yeah.
But
June 2024, Grand Theatre. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Then Unfortunate. This is something new for us as well. We're getting a lot of really popular fringe theatre coming through, which is really exciting. A bit of programming,
but a bit of a musical parody.
Yes. So, whereas Wicked is the story of the Wicked Witch of the West, and it's sort of it's a different look on that character. This is that, but for the Little Mermaid. So this is a look at Ursula.
Yeah.
And is Ursula who we think she is? I don't know. And is Ariel who we think she is? So this is... well, let's just read what it's all about. It says, so join everyone's favourite Disney diva, Ursula, as she gives her take on what really happened all those years ago under the sea. With an original hot pop soundtrack and trademark filthy humour, it's time to take the plunge and dive into this year's hottest night out. Cruella told her side and Maleficent's had her moment. Now the legendary queer queen is ready to spill in this tell-all tale of sex, sorcery and suckers.
Well, there we go. That is Unfortunate, and it's going along. How long? Is that a week? We got that?
Yes, for a whole week. Well, Thursday to Sunday, so it's about a week's worth of shows, but slightly later in the week, Thursday to Sunday in July next year.
Okay,
so,
get yourself ready for that one.
And
we've got one more.
So I'm told.
Oh, is that it?
That is probably the last. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not.
I
No, it's not. There's more. There's more.
Yeah.
So again, for the kids, Bluey is taken to the stage in July and is already selling very, very well. I know that is just as popular with parents as it is with children.
Yeah.
I think it's on BBC, it's on iPlayer, it's on Disney Plus, isn't it? And it's everywhere. It's on every streaming service, I think.
It's on repeat in your house.
Yeah. Yeah. And then direct from the London Palladium is The Wizard of Oz.
No, this is something. Obviously, it's a film people will be watching at Christmas, but the stage show is something special.
Yeah, it is, and I was lucky enough to go to the London Palladium this summer and see the production. And it is it's a fresh take on the Wizard of Oz, but it's a very welcome take. It's really great, and it's something that's fresh, modern, unexpected. But as I said earlier about the panto, you get what you expect, but not how you expect it.
So that's going to be good,
and I think that's going to be really, really good. And not in this brochure because it was printed a couple of weeks ago, but this week we found our casting for the Wicked Witch is the Vivienne, who
yes.
is the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race.
That was all over
Season
social
1.
media this week.
Yes. Yeah, the Vivienne is playing the Wicked Witch, so that'd be great to have her here, casting her spells. And then that is it, apart from the also booking page, because this is so far in the future that these will get their moment to shine in the next brochure.
Well, more comedy from Christmas balls and come from away. That's going to be a treat.
That is brilliant.
And then an officer and a gentleman as well. So lots to see. grandtheatre.co.uk. Pop online, check it out. Come and get a copy of Spotlight from
There's lots to read.
Yeah, it's plenty, and there's loads of articles. It's all about the shows as well, which is the good bit. And you can give the box office a shout. 01902 429212. Anything that's taking your fancy there. If we've said it, you want to see it, ring them up, have a look, or get on the website and check it out. Scott, always a pleasure to have a chat with you. Thank you for letting me in, and so we can sit in the Encore Lounge and go through this. And we look forward to some amazing shows between now and clearly next July next year.
Yes, yeah, it's all in there.
That's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 748 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.